Mathematics, the Term 3 elective, the Moodle course. This Moodle site has been constructed and approximately 11 blocks have been used. As you can see in scrolling through the site, the first blocks are the preamble, if you like, or the rationale for the course. What does the course look like? Why does it look like that? What's the major focus of the course? What's the assessment? What's it look like? And some messages from the course coordinator. What are your tutorials going to look like? How are they going to be constructed? Even though all of our lecturers are different, there is a framework here. So blocks 1 to 4 provide you with information about the course, its structure, its assessment and its rationale. It is actually from block 6 onwards where you find the actual topics of the course. And in this course there are only 5 or 6 courses. Being an intensive course that is usually spread over 6 weeks, there are 5 or 6 topics as the major focus of the course. So as you read the blocks below, please be aware that this course is only constructed on 5 or 6 topics. The first topic being the complexity of numbers, how they are related, what do they mean. This topic is about number sense and building a strong understanding that numbers are related one to another. And you building fluency and feeling around numbers. I know feeling is a strange word, but that's exactly what it is. When you see or feel or hear the word 133, the words 133, yes, what does that number mean to you? And what does it mean in relationship to other numbers? So 133, it's got something to do with 266, and it's definitely more than 100. And if I divide it by 2, that's not going to happen evenly. And I know all of those things because I have that feeling, that sense about 133. And that kind of understanding is very different from my feeling about a number which is 2 decimal point 2, which I know is a very small number. So that complexity of numbers, where they happen, what are the different number types that we have, but that most importantly you understand how fractions are different from decimals, but also how they're similar, how whole numbers are similar and different to fractions, and that you're able to talk about those relationships. And then within that, each number in particular, for example, a million. What do you know about a million? It's much, much bigger than 2 decimal point 2. How much bigger is it? How can you describe the difference between those two numbers? And we want you to be able to put those relationships into language. So that's your first topic for this course. Your next course is where we have those numbers that are represented by letters. And of course, this is algebra. And you know, there are so many people when they hear that word algebra who become very, very scared. And basically all it is when we're substituting a letter for a number. And then we're going to solve for that number and find out what it can be. And with that we work, and we will be exploring things like simultaneous equations, and we will be playing with quadratic equations. And the level of difficulty that we get to in those topics will be dependent on you as a group and you as individuals. But certainly we want you to be playing in that space and to be applying all of those understandings that you have about the 4 operations and the associative and distributive and commutative laws, and how they apply and are used in the context of algebra. And little things like where we use a multiplication sign normally, what happens to that in algebra? Often we don't use a multiplication sign because of its similarity to x, And so we put two brackets together, and from that we know that that means to multiply. So we begin applying those rules from number and those rules that, and ideas and concepts that we have about the four operations of multiplication, division, addition and subtraction in algebra. So we're playing in that space as well. In the next topic, which is numbers in our world, this is about that real life application of numbers and remembering how important numbers are out there. Where are they? How are they used? That's an important part of your declarative knowledge that you must have as a teacher. Mathematics is a way of making meaning. It happens out there in the real world. How does that happen? And you need to build your knowledge there. Of course, we move on. A very important part of where number happens is the financial world. And that's a major aspect of maths, particularly in the primary school, so we need to make sure that you live and work in that space. And we'll be doing some work there with simple and compound interest. Geometry, number in space. How does number get used in geometry? And that definition of geometry. What is geometry? How do we define geometry? There's going to be a little bit of measurement there, but not too much measurement, but a little bit of how measurement relates to geometry. Measurement is about putting those numerical aspects to geometry and how that happens. And lastly is number in statistics and probability. Where do we find number? What does number look like in those contexts? So they're our major topics and concepts as we go through this program. Thank you.